Hey guys, it's Raptor, and welcome back to World of Warships. Today I have a replay of me and my Akatsuki, and I am divisioned with Freckled Hydra and Sudden Death, Freckled in his Akatsuki, and Sudden Death in his Sims Tier 7 Premium American Destroyer. Now, for those of you who aren't familiar with the Akatsuki, it is the new Tier 7 torpedo boat of the Japanese destroyer line. As in the last patch, or in the most recent patch, they split the Japanese destroyer line into two lines, one gunboat and one torpedo boat line, and this is the Tier 7 that replaced the Hatsuharu in the torpedo boat line. Now here in the beginning, me and Sudden Death have decided that we're going to go over on the 1, 2, 3 line and see what kind of mayhem we can cause with our torpedoes and guns. And surprisingly, even though this ship is a torpedo boat, its guns aren't that bad, which is quite nice actually. And as you can see there, Sudden is trying to not really TK me, but he's having some fun with me. If he wanted to TK me, he would have already launched his torpedoes. But then again, I don't even know if his torpedoes reload that fast. But, as you can also see, I am pink. But, that sort of happened in a freak accident. When I accidentally happened to torpedo an Amagi from at least half health and kill him. So yeah, that happened. Anyway, so I see the ARP Nachi, and he's just inside my torpedo range. I'm not spotted. I go ahead and launch some torpedoes, and don't really expect them to hit, but well, we'll find out. And Sudden Death goes ahead and launches his torpedoes right behind mine, and it appears that the only support that we're going to get, at least in the beginning, is going to be the Nagato that is behind us, the Tier 7 Japanese battleship. Now, considering there's only a Colorado and a Nachi over here, well, I mean, I guess there's an Atlanta too, and there goes the Atlanta spotting me with his radar. I go ahead and pop the engine boost and start taking evasive maneuvers. Now, I immediately notice that Atlanta is not firing high explosive, although he does manage to knock out Sudden Death's engine. And of course he immediately fixes that, and I am no longer spotted, although Sudden is, because he is firing his guns. I go ahead and check the torpedoes over there, and now mine are reloaded, so I go ahead and launch another wall of skill towards the Colorado. And then I turn my guns on the Atlanta. I decide that he's the biggest threat in this situation, even if he is firing armor piercing. If he does at some point switch to high explosive, we will be in a lot of trouble, especially if he starts hitting those shells. Because the Atlanta is the #1 destroyer killer at Tier 7. Seeing as it has destroyer caliber guns and lots of them. And as you can see, my wall of skill did not hit the Colorado as he turned away to avoid being hit with those. I don't know if he was expecting me to launch them, but either way, they missed. So I go ahead and start firing off my guns again now that they're all turned around at the Atlanta, and a nice 2,300 damage salvo, and then that salvo right there takes the kill. So that's my first kill of the match, and I've only done 4,000 damage. But it was all on an Atlanta, which is, as I said before, a very dangerous target. So I would say that is worth it. And you can see the only Atlanta left on our team here is firing at the Nachi, and Freckled, Hydra is battling it out with the enemy Akatsuki. Now he does manage, or he does get torpedoed by that Akatsuki, but he did manage to launch a salvo of torpedoes and kill the enemy Akatsuki as well, so very well done. Although, it is unfortunate that we are now down a Tier 7 destroyer. And now me and Sutton decide it's time to go chasing down Colorados. Because, you know, that's fun, right? Tier 7 battleship, they sail in straight lines all the time. Although, this one has proven to be quite the hard one to catch unaware. Now I noticed that the enemy, what appears to be the enemy New Mexico, as well as possibly the ARP Takao, York, and Akatsuki and Fubuki are all on the other side of the map. So the only things we currently have to worry about are this Colorado, the Tirpitz, and the Nachi. It shouldn't be too hard to deal with. Now I warned Sutton that I'm about to launch torpedoes and that he should turn into me so he doesn't run into them like the Amagi did. So he starts turning in, and I go ahead and start launching the torpedoes. I do get spotted because the Colorado got within 7.2 kilometers of me, and he was already turning, so that means these are definitely going to miss, but I do start lighting him up with my guns. As I mentioned before, these aren't great guns, but they're not terrible either. And I start lighting him up. Now, unfortunately, the Nachi knocks out a turret and one of my torpedo launchers, and I can't be having those knocked out. And I repair that, and unfortunately, right as Sutton was about to launch his smoke screen, he does get taken out. Now, the Tirpitz does get 2 over-penetrations on me there, and I put my smoke screen up, and I move forward just in time to get a second puff of smoke. And now that my guns have mostly turned around, at least the back 2, I start lighting up this Colorado with some more high explosive fire, while I wait for my torpedoes to reload. And this Colorado is quite brave, seeing as he's getting very, very close to this angry smoke screen with me sitting in it. And you know what comes out of angry smoke screens? Walls of torpedoes. So here I go. I go ahead and launch one on the marker, and I launch one behind the marker. So if he slows down to turn, they should still hit, and I still have 1 launcher left. Just in case someone else, like that Nachi, who has disappeared already, tries to charge down my smoke screen. Now the Colorado does fire into my smoke screen blind, and he does get lucky and hit me. But unfortunately, firing blind into the smoke screen isn't going to help him dodge those torpedoes, as you are about to see. So I go ahead and start the engine boost and start making my way out of the smoke screen, because I don't want to be in it when that Nachi is there. And there goes 5 torpedo hits and my second kill of the game, earning me 56,000 damage. And then the Nachi pops up as the smoke screen dissipates, and I immediately start turning to get my torpedoes on him, because I know that there's no way I'm going to get out of this alive unless I torpedo him. He hits me again, but he turns into my torpedoes. I hit him with quite a few of those, actually. And there's my 3rd kill of the game. So now, turn around, well, I don't turn around yet, but I get detected, and I'm not sure by what here, because there's nothing really over on this side of the map other than that Tirpitz. And he's not within spotting range of me. Well, either way, I'm not detected anymore, and I figure that this Atlanta and the Nagato can deal with the Tirpitz while I head back and assist in relieving the pressure on the cap. So I start heading back while the Atlanta and Nagato are working over the Tirpitz, and the New Mexico and Haguro and Budyoni on my team are fighting it out with the Akatsuki, Fubuki, New Mexico on the enemy team. And I'd say we have the advantage here, but unfortunately it doesn't look like it's going to turn out that way. And right here I'm telling the cruisers over by our cap circle that I will spot the enemy destroyer or destroyers that are in there or were in there if they will help me kill them. And it appears that the Akatsuki on the enemy team has just been spotted right over by where the New Mexico is, so we now know where he is. And the Fubuki just torpedoed the ARP Haguro, so we know where he is now too, or at least the general area. And I was kind of confused there about the ARP Haguro's anger, seeing as I wasn't over here to see what happened, so I didn't really know what was going on. But I have finally found the Fubuki. Now the Fubuki does something quite interesting here. He turns into the island that's right there, and I don't know if he did this on purpose or what, but he definitely shouldn't have done that. Because on top of making himself a very easy target for my guns, he's a super easy target now for my torpedoes as well. But unfortunately, for him anyway, he just seems to sit there and he doesn't move or anything, which was quite odd. I figured he would at least try and get himself off the rocks. Because even with your engine knocked out... Oh, never mind. He probably doesn't have the skill that lets you move with your engine knocked out. That's probably what happened. Well, either way, that's 4 kills. And 82,000 damage with 8 torpedo hits and 4 floodings so far. As well as 2 devastating strikes. Or, no, my first devastating strike. Excuse me. I do get 2 of them in this game, though. So I see the New Mex has finally finished off our New Mexico, and I know that the Akatsuki is near their enemy New Mexico, so I don't want to get too close. And so I decided to go and use this island over here for cover so they don't spot me. Because I know they're going to try and get fairly close to the middle of this cap circle. And I see that the Atlanta is on his way over to help, and I notice that the Nagato is not anywhere near coming over to help, which was kind of a bummer, because we could have used his help. But either way, I go ahead and launch a wall of skill towards the enemy New Mexico, and I slow down and stop on the other side of this island, because I know that he's going to be getting closer, and I don't want him to see me until I absolutely must be seen. So I just wait, and I check the torpedoes, see if they're going to run into anything. Of course, I can't see anything yet, so I don't really know. But the New Mexico gets spotted, and he's 7.6 kilometers away from me. And he's getting a lot closer, so he definitely turned to avoid those torpedoes. And now he's within spotting distance of me, and then there's a smoke screen that comes up right next to the New Mexico, and I know that that's the Akatsuki trying to cover the New Mexico from the Atlanta's fire. And it works for a little while. And now my torpedoes are reloaded, and I know the New Mex is within spotting distance, but I need to take the chance here just in case the Atlanta dies. I need to have some torpedoes in the water ready to take care of this New Mexico. And as you can see, the Akatsuki is firing at me. It does hit me with an alright salvo. Doesn't do too much though. So I go ahead and launch the torpedoes. One in the middle, one ahead, and one behind, to cover my bases. I go ahead and smoke up, and then I start backing up behind the island again, because I know that the Akatsuki, if he's smart, is going to launch torpedoes into the smoke screen. And I now no longer have a speed boost or smoke screen to use. This is my last one. So I go ahead and I back up into safety behind this island, and there you go. 2 torpedo hits, 1 destroyed New Mexico, and a Kraken unleashed for my 5th kill of the game. Now at this point, I'm about to tell the friendly Atlanta that the Akatsuki is his, because of course it's going to be. He is in a destroyer hunter after all.
Torpedoes astern.
And there's the torpedoes that I figured would be coming from the Akatsuki. I go ahead and turn around, get my guns facing toward the Akatsuki, and start lighting them up with the high explosive. And I incapacitate his steering, and get a little bit of extra damage in here. Now I do get spotted. The smoke screen is now gone, but the Akatsuki is definitely not going to be too much of a threat to me, because he is evading the Atlanta. I run myself aground and get spotted again, and the Atlanta knocks the Akatsuki's engine out, and he's on fire. And that is goodbye, Akatsuki. I hope you enjoyed this replay. Now let's go take a quick look at the post-game stats. And as you can see, that is 101,000 damage with 55 shell hits, 10 torpedo hits, 4 incapacitations, 5 kills, 1 fire set, 6 floodings caused, and 2 base resets, earning me just under 260,000 credits and just under 5,000 experience with the Kraken Unleashed and 2 Devastating Strike awards. And as you can see, I was second on my team, only to the Atlanta on my team. Very well done to him with his 2 kills, and I'm sure quite a bit of damage, seeing as he was top on our team. And as you can see here, I only dealt 18,000 damage with my main battery high explosive shells, and I dealt 73,000 damage with my torpedoes and 9,000 damage with my fires, or fire, that I set on the Colorado before I torpedoed him to death. And as you can see, even after resupply of my premium consumables, I still made over 200,000 credits, so not bad at all. And as well, with the doubles that I had on the flags for my commander, I made almost 13,000 commander experience. Now, if you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. Lets me know what you think. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. If you would like to send me a World of Warships or World of Tanks replay, details are in the video description on how to do so. I hope you enjoyed the video, guys, and I will see you in the next one.